One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR 20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back. It's a Grateful Dead centric kind of episode today, and there's nothing better than the Grateful Dead family hooking you up with delicious food at Fire on the Mountain.
Fire on the Mountain.
Portland, 3 locations, 2 locations in Denver, and they got a lot of stuff happening in the Fire on the Mountain world. Tell us about the beer, Apple.
Well, I just get really excited, just when you think they can't bring you anything delicious anymore, like they've done so many good, delicious things. They come out with their new beer, which is a vanilla bourbon coffee stout.
Wait, what?
I love vanilla. I love bourbon. I love coffee, and I love stout beer. They put them all together, and I can't wait to try this.
That's like Willy Wonka got inside your brain and made a beer out of what your brain loves.
Like, what are 4 of your favorite things?
Well, let's see, sir. Yeah, and they've done that with pretty much the whole menu over there at Fire on the Mountain. They got into all of our brains and were like, what is your favorite thing,
Yeah,
sir?
because when I saw that Nashville hot chicken sandwich, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Do we need to make a special stuff?
For sure we do, and for sure
So
you
do you? Yeah.
And just to throw like another thing out there, you mentioned it a minute ago, like the sauces they keep coming up with, blueberry serrano sauce.
Yeah, or Creole dry rub, chili lime, all of them.
Like you're not going to get bored.
And they even have stuff for you vegan people out there, so don't feel bad if you're not into chicken wings or poultry products or other stuff. You can go and have delicious vegan wings over there, have an awesome salad.
That's right.
Get some pizza. Anyway.
Anybody can go.
And if you're not in Portland or Denver, don't feel left out.
Nope.
Like we always say, you can go and you can get some of their merch. You can order their sauces to be delivered to your house to make your own awesome wings.
That's right. You go to portlandwings.com and check out what they got. They have some amazing swag over there. You can get a hoodie or a t-shirt, and then you can like rep the Grateful Dead and Fish family in the form of a restaurant stuff. Yeah.
And if you want to look at them up on Instagram, FOTMPDX and FOTM Denver.
Yeah, that's right. So go check them out. Fire on the Mountain, part of the family. When you go online to buy like lot clothes and stuff, it's hit or miss, and it's really cool when you find somebody that is making cool shit like all the time. Like every drop they do is good, and they never throw a stinker at you. And that is what's happening with Shop Tour Bus. Go to @ShopTourBus on Instagram or shoptourbus.com and check out what our friends over there are doing in the form of Grateful Dead song titles told in picture form.
They've made their t-shirts like trading tapes. The
That's
t-shirts
true.
themselves are the, 77 Cornell and like everything, like those, they're special. And if you like the way that they feel, you will love having every single one of these items in your cute t-shirt collection for you. Like, I don't know, what am I going to wear to, Fish Vegas? What am I going to wear to, I don't know, but you can do anything with these shirts. They're dope.
Apple, what's the new one?
Well, the new one, they say they tweaked the knees and reshaped the surfboard a bit, and they're super stoked on this one. The estimated tees are now available for pre-order. So go over there, do your pre-order for the estimated profit. This design is so dope. It has everything California kind of in it. It's
Makes
just
sense.
fitting.
It's an estimated profit shirt.
You'll get it in one of the new boxes. They now have the new Terrapin shipper boxes that are ready. You just have to go over to see how dope these look.
Yeah, it's like an all-over printed box with their Terrapin Station design on the inside, and it doesn't just come with the thing that you ordered in it. There's all kinds of extras, and some of you are even going to get a Miracle Grateful Dead bootleg cassette in your order. And make sure you put in the promo code No Simple Road, all one word, when you check out, because they are hooking the family up with free shipping. So go check out shoptourbus.com or at shoptourbus on Instagram. You'll see what we're talking about. It's the best of the best.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
I love how easily distracted the three of us are. Like, we'll be getting ready to do this, and then it's just silence in the room. My fingers like poised over the record button, and everybody's just like doing like, which of these kids is doing their own thing?
Looking off in different directions.
Yeah. Hey now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
It is Mel.
And it is Apple.
Yep. We're back with, look, check this out, everybody.
What?
This is our 300th episode.
What?
I didn't tell you guys that before we started. I wanted to spring it on you right now.
What?
This is 300.
What do we? And you know what we're doing to celebrate?
What?
Having the freaking Garcia Birthday Band
That's
on.
right. No
Thank
Simple
you.
Road.
Thank you so much, guys, for being our 300th episode. Yep. I honestly am honored and grateful that it's you guys, our hometown band, somebody that came to our home in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You didn't know us, and we didn't know y'all, and we fell in love with each other.
Now we do.
I think that's safe to say. I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds. I hope you guys love us.
I would agree.
But I feel like after you invited us backstage to hang out with you, that you do love us because we love you so much. And so thank you for being our 300th episode. For Peter, Scott, Murray, Adam, and Justin, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love you.
I was thinking about this earlier today, that Garcia Birthday Band is going to be our 300th episode, and this is like this wasn't planned, and it just kind of worked out that way. And I was tripping out on it because when you'll hear the story in the conversation that we have, but when we very first moved to Portland, they were the first live music that we ever saw here. And they basically initiated us into the live music scene here in our new home when we moved here almost 6 years ago.
Yeah. I remember we went to Edgefield to go see, we didn't know what was going, we were going to see that
Jerry statue,
the Jerry statue that's there. And it was his birthday, wasn't it? When we went, and then we were awesomely surprised to hear this awesome music in the Grove up at the
Little
top.
Red Shed.
But and we're like, who the hell is this? And then they've been part of our life ever since.
Yeah, it's serendipitous that the Garcia Birthday Band is the 300th episode of No Simple Road. And, the Grateful Dead family and the scene here in Portland is unlike anywhere else. I would say Oregon is unlike anywhere else. The ethos of the Grateful Dead and the energy that the Grateful Dead created is alive and well in this part of the country. And there's a lot of Grateful Dead magic here. And, like the land that the Oregon Country Fair is on, and just the history. Yeah, Veneta and all of it. Like the land itself is steeped in that energy. And so it creates a certain kind of scene here that's unlike any place else. And so to have that kind of scene needs the kind of band that can support that.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And
these guys are
a great need for that here.
Yeah, and it wouldn't allow subpar to be.
No.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen. And so it was a really huge relief for the Apple and I when we got here and we saw that, to find that was what was tending the fire here.
Yeah, that's our welcome, our welcome mat. What? This is what we have to look forward to.
And I'm so proud of and I'm so proud of them that they're going to be at Skull and Roses this year too. Yeah, that's a huge thing that you'll listen to in the show too.
And we'll be there too.
They're also going to be, since you threw that out, they're doing the Jim and Jam show down in Arizona. They're going to be closing out that.
They're closing out Jim and Jam.
Yeah.
Wow.
When's Jim and Jam?
It is February 3rd through the 5th.
I love that you have to put on your reading glasses to look at your phone.
I do.
You know you can make the text bigger on your phone,
I
brother.
do. I'm getting older. Well, it's the same thing.
Also, you said you were talking about magic earlier. We got to pull tarot cards with the guys.
That's how this thing started.
That's how the whole thing started, and that was really special too. And I'm excited for y'all to listen to this episode. It was a lot of fun.
But I just want to stop for a second with you two, for real. Put your phone down for a second, bro.
Take my glasses
off.
Take
your glasses off.
Okay.
Like for real.
Yes.
No Simple Road started on, the first episode was recorded on July 4th, 2017. And was released in August. And when it started, the first episode was just me on the porch by myself with a little blue snowball microphone, and telling the story of going to my first Grateful Dead show. And at that time, there was no concept for the show beyond talking about getting turned on to music and the Grateful Dead. And I a lot has happened in 5.5 years between that sitting down on the porch to where we're sitting right now and doing what we're doing. And it is a fucking trip to think about that this has happened thus far with the three of us and No Simple Road, and that we're 300 episodes in. Like, that's bananas. That's just think, like, let that sink in for a second. 300, and it's actually more
because the other ones we don't
number
put numbers on.
But this is our 300th interview.
Yeah, conversation,
Yeah.
official.
And I have to say that it is 100% because of you that listen to the show that we have made it this far. Because without you guys, there's no audience, and we're talking into a vacuum.
We'd be back to doing what we were doing before your son got you that snowball
Just hanging
microphone.
out together, talking.
Hanging out on the patio, talking to each other,
But
with no audience.
I'd like to say, if we're stopping for a moment, I like to say, without you, Aaron, without you, babe, there would be no simple road, like straight up. So yes, we've continued it for 5 years, 300 episodes, but I think that maybe like a little fucking moment for my man and for the creator of something that so many people find enjoyment out of. So many people enjoy these interviews. I think that when sometimes people don't realize their impact in the moment, and that's a good thing because egos get out of control. However, every now and then it's also necessary to throw wood onto the fire to keep it going, and to know that you're doing a service and a job that's not just good for your soul, but also good for other people's soul. People need to be reminded of that. Like, and if it wasn't for you that one day, you could have let that microphone sit.
mm-hmm.
You could have just been like, oh, that's cool, Simon, thanks. But you actually did something with it. And then even further, you posted it and created a thing and an action and a movement that Apple and I get to fucking reap the benefits of, that people that listen to the show get the benefit of. I think even the musicians that have been on the show have benefited from awesome conversations and like publicity and support and, people knowing about them. This has been such a big thing to a lot of people, and I just want to say thank you properly because I love you and you should know it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I love you too. I love you too, babe. And
That's awesome. If you guys could see that they were just looking at each other, and that was super sweet, and I'm glad to witness that and be part of this as well.
Yeah, man. I can't imagine what our life would be like without this. Now that it's here, it's like having a kid. Like before the child is there, your life is going on and it's one way, and then you have a kid and your life is different after that. And you can't imagine your world without the kid in it, right? And that's how I feel about this.
It is one way before.
We've described
and
it the entire time through this 5.5 years. I remember we used to be like, it's an infant still. It's in its infancy. And then it was going through its terrible twos and then this and that. And then we were like, okay, now it's no longer even an adolescent. Now it's like a grown up.
Yeah, when you're 5 years
stuff
old.
itself, because look at the friendships and everything that this has birthed. Like,
wild.
Well, and
it's amazing what it has become and what it does on its own with us. It's just amazing where it's at now.
Even the hard lessons that No Simple Road has brought into our life, like, without getting too personal, like it's brought people in and out of our life that's been painful,
Yeah.
That is another thing. And, being a family, if you are part of a family, how messy and chaotic being a part of a family can be. And relationships and trust, all kinds of shit gets broken and damaged and excuse me. that happens in any kind of a group setting. So I just want to, acknowledge. Thank you, Aaron's giving me a drink.
He understands.
I just want to acknowledge all of it, not just the good parts, but all the struggle parts too. That's been hard,
Well, the Grateful Dead said, like, when you said that, the lyric comes to my head: seasons change and roses die.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, man.
Yes.
It's the truth, Ruth. Seasons change and roses die. And this thing has gone through a lot of seasons.
Yes.
And it's
slated to go to more seasons.
Yeah, and it's only moving on up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honored to be able to do it, and it's exciting, and it's the single most fun thing I've ever gotten to do. Even when it's a pain in the ass and I don't feel like it and I'm tired, or I have to stay up till midnight and put the show out or whatever, like, I get to do that shit.
Yeah.
I get to.
And it always gives us what we need.
Yeah.
It always does. We've had maybe very few and far between, but we've had times when all three, which is very rare, that the three of us are just kind of worn out. Things have been rough and everything. And we come down and we do this. We do our conversations. We do our intros. We do our weekly rewind. It always rejuvenates us and gives us what we need because of all of you listening.
Yeah. And I just wanted to take a minute and say a heartfelt, from the bottom of my soul, thank you to everybody that's ever been on the show, and especially to all of you that listen. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for trusting us with your ears every week, and for letting us entertain you and be with you and spend time with you, and you looking forward to it, and us being here, and like all of it. Just thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this thing with us and going on the ride, because we're all on it together, man. And it's been the biggest fucking trip of my entire life, and I've been through some serious trips, so that's saying something. And this is definitely the most prolonged psychedelic journey I have ever been on, is No Simple Road, and I'm so grateful for it. And for all of you out there, man, you mean the world to us, and I hope you know that. So yeah.
And if you didn't, now you do.
You've been told.
So yeah, that's
so
the 300 episodes in. That's what I'm saying.
Dang,
I can't believe it. I remember Donna Jean Godshaw was our 200th episode, and I remember I was like, 300 is a long way away, man, and it seems like 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's one of those things, like, time is so weird. Sometimes it feels like it was yesterday. Sometimes it feels like it was 10 years ago. Like, all depending on where you're at and what you're feeling. But that's an accomplishment in anything, in any field.
Yeah.
300 shows, 300, steaks served, 300, whatever, 300, that's a lot. And the biggest thing to me of all of it, through all of this 300 episodes, 99.999% of it has been all positive feedback. We've never had anybody on the show that wouldn't want to come back or hasn't come back again.
Yeah, that's true.
Our listeners, so many. Every time we go somewhere and we get to meet more of you, you become friends. We have more communications going on with people than ever. That keeps building. And here we are. We're sitting here in January. Everybody's already planning their year. Like, Fish just announced spring tour. We know Peach Festival, all the festival, that this is where the excitement in, like, the beginning of the year, everybody's planning everything. And it's going to be so awesome to get out there and personally get to meet more of you, hang out with you, hug you, boogie, have a good time. Oh,
and I just thought of something else that needs to be announced as well, along with our 300th episode. We have a new producer of No Simple Road. Yeah, that happened just last night, actually. I would like the No Simple Road family to welcome the new producer of No Simple Road, His name is Corey, and you will know him as Sky Dog Disciple or Corey. And he has offered his production services to the show, and we took him up on it.
And he is the mastermind behind the quiz shows, which we so enjoyed, and from what we've heard, you all have too.
Yeah, and that is, who to thunk it.
I really appreciated our conversation, Skydog, yesterday when we were working out the details of this producer position. And you will get your name tag shortly.
I actually did print out the employee handbook for you too, and so that'll be coming in the mail. And make sure you do send us the urine sample and stool sample, Corey, because but you're not officially hired until we get that stuff. Anyway,
and that's a monthly thing, by the way. At least Aaron makes me do it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
He thinks it's Aaron.
It's Darwin.
Oh God.
Anyway, let's get back to the show. Thanks everybody for being amazing members of the No Simple Road family. We love you so much, and if you see us out anywhere, please come give us a hug, man, and tell us you listen to the show, and we'll give you a sticker, and we'll boogie down together and do the thing. Anyway, we are going to do the business so we can get you to this interview with our brothers from the Garcia Birthday Band. Follow No Simple Road if you don't already, at No Simple Road on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Go to nosimpleroad.com and you can sign up for the No Simple Road newsletter there. You can get No Simple Road merch. You can sign up for a tarot reading with the Grateful Dead tarot deck with Mel and I there. Yeah. What else? I just lost my train. Oh, there it is. You can go to patreon.com/No Simple Road and you can become a patron of No Simple Road. And please, everybody that is a current patron, or if you were thinking about becoming a patron of No Simple Road, just know that I put Corey in charge of our Patreon. So there should be something coming up there at some point soon. So
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We're excited about that.
We are very excited about that. No pressure, Corey. And
you signed up for it.
Yeah, right.
We didn't come knocking on your door, Corey. Remember that.
But if you want to do something for the show that doesn't cost any money, I mean, it's cool if you donate on Patreon because we get to keep doing the show if you do that. But if you want to do something that doesn't cost anything, you can go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. And we don't have any January reviews, do we?
We do not yet.
Wow.
Sad report. I just looked it up. But
January's not over, though.
Oh, yeah. No, we still got time.
Nope. I'm sad now.
Don't let us start our year all lame.
Oof.
That's 300 episodes. Yay. No reviews.
Yeah, we're going to get one for this 300th episode.
So, if you're listening to the Garcia Birthday Band episode because you love them so much and you could not wait to listen to them on this episode, do us a favor and head over to Apple and just do a simple review, like, cool interview, guys. I loved it. They're great. Saw them New Year's. They rocked it out. Whatever. That would be so helpful and so sweet and kick our new year outright.
Yeah.
Darwin just got sad and walked across the room, laid down on his bed.
He was like, oh, no reviews, man. This sucks. Anyway.
There's also something else that doesn't cost a dime, which we love, which is calling the Tepid line.
That's true.
At 971-808-1524. That's 1524.
971-808-1524. Look, it's open mic night. Call the Tepid line. You could say whatever you want. Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
Leave a show review.
Show review.
Tell
we know you're going to shows because we're going to shows. Everybody's going to shows. Let's hear about it.
Well, do you want to talk about the Garcia Birthday Band that we saw on New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve? I just wanted to say thank you so much, gentlemen, for getting us in, for making Peter. You came all the way up to find us
outside.
So sweet. Like, just our relationship with you, we cherish it, and thanks for putting on an incredible show and an awesome kickoff to a end of the year, and we love you.
Yeah, man, that the Garcia Birthday Band community that is here in Portland is a funky bunch, man.
It's deep. That's like deep family. Yep. It's awesome. You see a lot of the same people, and I got to say, for that show, it was all. I'd never been to Mission Theater yet.
Oh yeah, it's really
and
cool,
what a welcome that was. It's another McMenamins property that's just amazing, and what a night. I mean, everybody danced their butts off and had a great time, and it helped us. It was the day before New Year's, but it helped us ring in the new year, like feeling really good.
So, hey, everybody, you ready? 300. This is it.
300.
All right.
Well,
Here we go. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you the
Garcia Birthday Band.
Tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. I want to love you night and day. You know our love will not fade away. You know our love will not fade away. Not fade away. Bigger than a Cadillac. I tried to show you, but you drive me back. Your love for me has got to be real. You wanna know just how I feel. Love is real, but not fade away. Not fade away. it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. I wanna love you night and day. No, our love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away. No, our love will not fade away.
Don't we all need patience and guidance?
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't feel like being patient right now.
Sick. And I don't need no guidance. I know where I'm going.
Fed up with all that.
It's hippie bullshit. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, how are we closing this set out?
For everybody listening, Mel's pulling a card.
Oh,
I just started recording.
Addicts of my life.
You got the attic? So what? It's time for you to chill out and go inward?
Contemplate your mortality.
Your navel.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that is kind of...
You could look out of any window. Any morning, any evening, any day.
Any window.
Yeah, basically.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so are you going to read this?
I guess I'm going to read that.
Well, I guess, we were just not going to read the last part.
You got to do it.
I got to do everything. I got to pick.
Yeah.
I got to do my own. All right. Right here.
You too.
Solitude, retreat, and meaning. Inside the attic, a solitary figure sits with his back resting upon a trunk full of memories. The figure focuses his gaze on a heart radiating with roses of abundance and bolts of creativity. The attic asks you to step away from the world of material pursuit and focus on your inner path.
Wow.
That's how we close out the set. Focus on your own shit.
Makes sense that the final song would be Addicts.
Yep. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. We're here with the Garcia Birthday Band, or three of the members of the Garcia Birthday Band. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves for everybody listening?
I'm Scott Gillen. I play bass and vocals.
Peter Bach, rhythm guitar, vocals.
Murray Gussick, I play the drums.
What's up, Murray?
No vocals from Murray.
So
No vocals?
No vocals.
You don't get any vocals, Murray?
No, nobody wants to hear me
We'll
sing.
force him
Let
to
Murray
eventually.
sing. That's it. We're making sure it's let Murray sing.
Make Murray sing.
Make
make Murray sing. Yeah.
that's
Force
probably more
Murray
like
to
it.
sing.
Well, welcome back.
It's
good
great to be back.
It's great to be back.
We're stoked.
Yeah, it's cool to have you guys here
Scott,
again.
is your last name Killen or Killing?
Gillen.
Gillen.
With a G.
Oh, Gillen.
Like Ian Gillen from Deep Purple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Last time you guys were here, we were in our basement.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was like, was it 2017?
I want to say yes, because we hadn't gone to Costa Rica yet. So we were just getting ready, or we're going to go to Costa Rica.
Wow.
You guys had not actually been here all of that long. when
No.
we were here
No.
last time.
Well,
Wow.
we moved here June 2016, and me and Aaron immediately in the first week or two
Yeah, it
of
was
being
the
here
first thing we did.
went out to Edgefield, and it was Jerry's birthday. We went to go see the sculpture, and that's when we first saw you guys
The
and
namesake
found
gig,
out
yeah.
who you were.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys were our
And do you remember?
initiation.
And also, do you remember when we did the Grateful Dad rut race?
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you guys played the Grateful Dad 5.
We did.
10K or whatever. it was.
Yeah.
Earliest gig.
Yep. The earliest. Yeah. We had to be, our call was like at 7:15 a.m.
Nobody wants that.
Oh my God. Okay, so how do you open that set? That's what I want to know.
I don't remember what we played first, actually. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was, I think we kind of eased into it. Like, yeah, let's not rage too hard at the beginning.
Long
wanna-
distance runner.
Don't want to strain anything.
And we definitely played that.
We did.
And is that Fire on the Mountain?
that is fun.
Yeah, it's fire
Yep.
on the mountain.
That's how we started this whole shenanigan here.
Hi.
But yeah, you guys had been here. I think it would have been in maybe January of of 2017.
Wow, that really we
I
weren't.
think, because we went to Costa Rica like the following month.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Okay, so
I like how
that makes
Costa
sense.
Rica is your like mark in
With
time.
you guys.
Yeah.
With you guys for sure.
That's
yeah.
Right, that is cool.
You know, for us coming from Vegas and like where we were in our heads when we moved up here, it was a really big deal for us to find you guys waiting here musically for us. It was huge.
It was a huge deal, and it was even a bigger deal to know that you guys were so amazing. And right when we got here, we got to have you in the house. It felt really special, and we felt like really welcomed. At least I did, welcomed in by the city and the community.
And the scene, yeah.
Yeah, and the scene.
It was very cool. And like we were talking about in the kitchen, that things have changed for us dramatically and for you guys. And none of it was really planned for us. Like this has all just been us doing this.
Kind of made it up.
Yeah. And that first couple of years was super intense. Like there was a lot of motion that happened. And having you guys there for us really like it grounded us in the scene. And I'm just really grateful to you guys for that.
Yeah.
That's really nice to hear.
Thank you. I mean, it's been a pleasure watching your thing just kind of take off since we were last here. I mean, it's been incredible to watch, and all the people that you've interviewed. And
do you listen to the show, Scott?
I do. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that.
I haven't heard all the episodes.
Of course not.
I've heard
There's a lot
I've
of
heard a lot of
episodes.
them. I mean, you've interviewed everybody from Gans, where you name checked us in that episode, and Jay Lane and John Kadlasick. You guys interviewed Karen Mooney Lasher.
Yeah.
You guys have
Yes.
interviewed Bodie Mojo and Jack and all those guys. So yeah, it's been really cool to watch how you guys and who you've interviewed over the many years. You guys are covering a lot of ground.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Thank you for that outside perspective, because when we're doing it, we're not, at least maybe we're coming to the point where we're going to be more goal oriented or more specific. But up to this point, we just kind of made it up. Aaron be like, this will be cool. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. And we just kind of grew from there. But now we can see that it's like really created a highlight on the scene that we all love being in so much.
Well, and one of the things for us too, and this is something I wanted to talk to you guys about, was like the Grateful Dead community is so rich, and like the songbook is so deep. But for us, it came to a point where it was like, okay, we need to start like reaching outside the Grateful Dead scene specifically for what we're doing, just because it started with us going and seeing Pigeons playing ping pong. And I was like, oh shit, because there's a wider music scene that I'm not paying any fucking attention to.
Sure.
And it opened up all these doors for me musically, and I started listening to a whole bunch of other stuff. And like, but the question I have for you guys is like, continually playing Grateful Dead music and being a Grateful Dead tribute band, how do you keep it fresh for yourselves? I know that it's improv and it's not always the same, but it's the same framework all the time. So how do you do that?
Well, if I can answer that, I mean, first of all, I think there's a difference, and you have to make a delineation between a tribute band like DSO.
Okay.
Oh,
where each person plays a particular role. You know, Eaton sings the Bob songs, Mattson sings the Jerry songs, Skip sings the occasional Phil song. And all
Okay.
that. We don't approach it like that at all.
All right.
I think for us, and the thing that keeps it fresh is that we're more like
Come a little closer.
Oh,
there you go.
We're more like a jazz
Yes.
band in the effect that we're playing from a huge book. The Dead's book of standards is massive.
Right.
Yeah.
It includes everything from, bluegrass to jazz to avant-garde. I don't even know what the fuck it is music to disco and all that. And by kind of approaching it from that sort of standpoint, we're able to kind of change. And if like a new member shows up, it changes the way that we integrate or interact with the music. But so I think that's kind of the main thing, is that we approach it with sort of a, not a laissez-faire attitude, but just kind of a anything goes attitude. And I mean, lately the set lists, you know, the typical standard format of the Dead show is 2 sets with a break.
Yeah.
And there's first set songs and second set songs. And we've kind of gotten to the point where we basically have said, okay, we're not going to play that game anymore. Anything can be a first set song. Anything can be a second set song. And there can be space jams anywhere, literally all the time.
And any other song can be inserted in the middle of a particular song.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be Scarlet Fire.
No, it doesn't
Or
have to be
Estimated Eyes.
Doesn't have to be Franklin's
It can
Tower
be-
after Help Slip.
Okay.
Ramble on Rose, Wharf Rat, back into Ramble on Rose.
This is my favorite thing I'm hearing you say, because that I get bored easy. I have lots of energy, and so I put my energy in lots of different places. And so love going to the Dead anything, because it gives you that feeling, that certain feeling. But for somebody who needs to have some kind of thought and spontaneity and newness and freshness along with familiarity, that's important.
I totally agree.
It is, I think, going back to just the fundamentals of the catalog and how immense it is.
Yeah.
There's no other catalog that would allow.
No.
You're
that.
100%
No, there's not
right.
a Willie Nelson cover band in every city. It just isn't.
No.
Yeah.
Or Zeppelin. Or,
So how did you have to change and adapt when Murray joined?
Well,
well,
to be fair, when we started playing with Murray, the musicianship collectively, because Murray's such an excellent and intuitive player, all of us responded, and the musicianship collectively increased.
Whoa.
Leagues, like instantly.
really?
Oh yeah.
Murray, what's your musical background? Because you were saying that you weren't too into the Dead, and
I was brand new to the Dead. I'm a rock drummer, basically.
Hell yeah.
And I kind of started late in life. I did a lot of stuff in marching percussion,
okay,
like drum corps and that sort of thing. That was like my life and world.
Like
for
in high school or middle school or?
high school marching band. And then I grew up in Southern California. Then I moved to Northern California and joined a drum corps called the Santa Clara Vanguard, and was involved with that as a player and a teacher for a lot of years.
But that's high level playing.
It's very technically oriented, and you're scrutinizing, sextuplets and 30-second notes and these tiny partials of a beat, and that was and you have to do that and train other people to do that at a high level to compete. So as a player in my own journey, it's been a process of trying to forget all of that.
oh shit,
Yeah, and so one of the things that drew me to this project, and why I threw my name in the hat, was because, selfishly, I saw a great opportunity to push myself further in that regard. And so once
In the improvisation.
improvisation and just
breaking
letting go, being in the moment, being more organic,
Yeah.
listening, being open to whatever happens musically in the moment.
Learning a new skill, basically, like a new way of playing something that you've always learned how to play.
Totally. If you knew me 10 years ago, you'd be like, well, that is the last dude that would ever be in a Grateful Dead project. So
Wow.
there was something
so
about that.
what was your aura back then, or your vibe back then?
Well, geez, I'm not sure what my aura
Intense.
But you know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
kind of energy were you putting out that you would say that,
it was
that guy would
way more
never.
technical.
Well, that's like very structured, and then
Yeah.
you step away from.
But you also said
structure.
you're a rock drummer, so structure and rock to me don't necessarily go.
Well, we're the same age, and you grew up as a drummer, I'm sure, listening to Rush.
Yeah, I was weaned on Rush for sure.
okay.
Deal.
Wayne Don, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, Scott and I share a lot of, we're about the same age, and well, actually we're exactly the same
Yeah.
age pretty much. So we share a lot of, 80s rock love and
Yeah.
Dio and Black Sabbath and Ozzy and all those bands. So that's kind of my home base, and I've dabbled in some other styles, but I was just more of a, an aggressive player, I guess. Like being in this project has encouraged me to relax as a musician.
That's that. To me, it sound learning music and becoming a musician is like a lot like learning a language. And to me, this sounds like learning a dialect of the language that you already know.
It's very much like that. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the more you speak and the more you practice with other speakers, native speakers, or, you know, bilingual people, you get better at it. And you get better by playing with musicians. Well, for me anyway, my playing is always improved when I play with musicians who are demonstrably better than me.
Better or different?
Both.
Because I mean, if somebody's I guess you're right. I was going to say what's better, but you're right. Somebody playing.
Yeah. If I got on stage with them, they're better.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Okay, you're right.
And that pushes you to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're a hobbyist tennis player and you're used to playing with people at the local tennis courts, and then, you know, a Nick Bollettieri person shows up.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to just watch them.
You're going to get smoked.
all the well, you're going to get smoked, but you're also going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
From
Very
seeing
true.
like what they do or don't do.
Yes.
Well, that's one thing I love about this whole community and this scene, like you guys do. Before we started recording, you were telling us a little story about doing the after party show for String Cheese Incident. This like jam band, dead community, local up here. What's so awesome is, like you were just saying, is the people joining each other on stage all the time. And that changes the game and pushes everybody to be better. You learn more. Like you just said, I love the camaraderie. Everybody is like a cheerleader for everybody else. Mm-hmm. And you were just mentioning, like, growing up in the 80s rock, that wasn't the case. Like, I remember I went to every Dio show, every Iron Maiden, every Scorpions, and there was a huge barrier between the band and
the audience.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, Bruce Dickinson's going to join Scorpions, you know, on stage, and to do that, live in this world of where everybody supports each other and pushes each other. That's what keeps it really fresh too. You never know what you're going to get when you go to a show.
Well, and the Deadheads are unique. Well, I mean, not anymore, but initially in the late 80s, when I was turned on to the Dead, running into the Deadheads, the way that they followed the stats, there was no other band. I'd never encountered that. And I mean, I'm a music nerd and, you know, grew up reading liner notes on albums.
Yeah.
For years and years. And then finally running into the Deadheads, where it's like, oh man, this whole group of people does that. And I mean, it's not even about the songs that they're playing now. They're talking about songs that they played like a week ago or that they haven't played in, you know, a decade.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, that didn't exist, you know, when you were going to Metallica shows.
And I think that's
very true.
Part of what, like,
it was very interactive
until Billy Strings opened for Metallica, and then he made it happen.
He's kind of his own thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, that whole thing that you're talking about, though, is part of what's so amazing about the community and the music. Well, there's a couple of other bands that are close, but this thing is a very peculiar animal. And the community that's around it is really special. And that was one of the things that really blew me away about you guys when we moved up here. Was it wasn't just you and your playing that were amazing. There's a whole infrastructure of people
that support
you guys. And it's fucking amazing to see. So I wonder, because we're starting to see it too with what we do. There's a group of people that take care of us, help us. There's people that are reaching out with ideas for the show and like all that stuff. But when you join a band and you just play music because you love Grateful Dead music, you're not thinking about caring for a community of people. And that's now part of your job. How does that factor in for you guys?
Peter?
Yeah, come on, Peter. You've been quiet over there.
I have been a little quiet.
That's a tough question.
It's a symbiotic relationship because they very much care for us.
Right.
that they buy the tickets and they show up and they give the energy that makes this whole thing possible, connects the circuit, as Phil always says. It's a real thing.
That's true.
So I think it's mutual, and it's interesting because we had that that come to Jerry moment at the beginning of the pandemic. Is how is this scene that we've worked so hard gonna survive, and what can we do? And we did everything to behind the scenes to just throw out ideas of how what can we do to keep us out in front and to keep this community going, because there will be a time where we'll be playing again, and
you felt like
how
that?
do we?
Oh, very much so. Yeah,
I was fucking freaking out, man. I was like, is music coming back? I was petrified.
Sure. I think all of us got to that point at some point, but still holding the, okay, we can do it. We ended up doing just some live streams in a parking lot in a business parking lot on a Sunday with nobody around.
That's so cool.
And getting 1,000 people to tune in and dig in with us. So
but it's weird. That was cool in that we were able to continue what we were doing before the pandemic happened, but without the people there, it's like it was completely bizarre.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that feels like. I mean, I guess the only thing I could think to equate it to would be like recording an album, maybe.
In the looking at the details of everything.
Yeah. And like
really
nobody
listening
there, and like the song ends and there's no applause.
Yeah.
It was
You
pretty
stop and wait for the applause. And
It was pretty strange. And then there were a couple times when a random person would appear, like walking through an adjacent like parking lot where we were. And they would just show up and be like, what is this? What are you guys doing? What's happening? What are you doing? I mean, we didn't have a PA system set up because we're all on in-ear monitors. So it's
multi cameras set up everywhere, and a couple texts running around.
What is this? And then we would just say, listen, you can't be here.
Go away.
You need to leave.
We're keeping the music alive.
And people,
man.
there were people that kind of figured out where we were.
Oh shit.
And they were like, oh, well, we'll just show up there. And it's like, don't show up there, because that's not the deal here. We can't
create
do that.
issues.
We're just trying to fill a void that we are all feeling.
Well, and I mean, for a while there during the pandemic, the streams, everybody was streaming.
Yeah.
And I mean, I loved it because it was like, oh, this is great. I can watch X band in their studio, and this is super cool. But after a while, I think everybody, I mean, myself included, got kind of worn out on that.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yes.
I remember saying, I will not watch another stream. I can't do it no more. I'm done.
Yeah, you had a really hard time with watching the streams, Aaron. And it's like, I know it's not the same.
It just made me
the
sad.
real standout.
Exactly. It was upsetting.
Yeah, it just made me sad.
And one of the biggest standouts that we watched part was when Trey did when they did the Beacon jams, and he's turned around facing the back wall so you could see the Beacon Theater, and then stopping after a jam and just silence.
That particular show, for me anyway, was different.
That one, I could hope in it.
I could feel that one. That was the thing that like was weird for me. It was like a psychic disconnect from the music. I could like hear it, but the thing wasn't happening. That circuit wasn't connected, and it was disconcerting. It was like having my equilibrium off. I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I don't like that. That's not how I do this. But the Beacon jams are different. I felt that one, man. That was like, okay, I feel like everything might be all right here.
Well, and because we didn't do the streams that often, how many do we do altogether? Like 8?
4 or 4 to 8, somewhere 6.
We didn't do a lot of them. And because of that, because we weren't doing it like every week or every 2 weeks or even monthly, the demand did not lessen when we finally did start doing in-person shows again, because the Deadheads are insatiable, insane people anyway.
Yep.
So there's way more Deadheads now than there were even
Before the pandemic?
Before the pandemic.
Weird.
Oh yeah.
So weird.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's the thing that I'm an older head now. I'll just say it out loud.
You're a grandfather.
I know. Fuck.
Grandpa.
And I see the young generation of heads, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's so weird. And now I know how those old cats felt seeing me come through, and like it's.
Do you ever go up and ask them like, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
What are you doing?
What do they say?
No, like, how did you get here?
Well, I think there's a couple of answers that I've gotten, like in different formats. One of them is my uncle, my older uncle, has always been into the Dead, and when I turned however old, I went with him to J-Rad or Dead and Company.
Sure.
And then the other one is
John Mayer.
Yep.
Hear, that's the most I
That's
hear
the
with,
other
with the like the kids that are our daughter's age and stuff like that. They came through John Mayer. They loved him.
Mayer legitimized it.
Dude.
And that's
for this generation, he absolutely did.
And then they find
all the old heads were kind of like, however they were, whether they were for it, against it.
He's a pretty divisive figure.
Yeah.
There's
I think
two camps.
But like you could, you kind of said Deadheads are insatiable and they're statisticians, and it's a very particular kind of person that is a Deadhead.
We like our licorice.
Yeah.
True.
But bringing in Mayer, it helped to revive, and like you guys were saying, totally throwing out the first set, second set song thing. Like that's what John Mayer did. That's what the Dead did with John Mayer. They like threw in this wild card.
Okay.
And they're like, this is what it is. This is what we're evolving the Dead music to be. And you either love it or hate it. So people are going to be like, oh, 97 or 2020s. Hell no. Like
89.
Well, and that's what we've gotten to from talking to people. Like it's super fun to walk around in the law, like at Skull and Roses, walking around doing the podcast, talking to younger people and approaching them. Because the other answer we've got, which is also some of the local younger bands up here, to see them so into the stats and everything, and be able to talk about shows from the 70s. I mean, that we've heard that from several people. It's like, man, I just like, they kind of discovered it from their uncle or on their own. And the next thing you know, they're doing the deep dive into everything. And then sometimes it's caught me off guard. Aaron's much more of a stats person than like me and Mel are with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And like lyrical wise and everything too. Some of the stuff I hear coming out of these like 20-year-olds' mouths, it's like, oh my God, I think I knew that back in like, 89, 90, 91. And it's keeping it so alive. And it's created so many more bands that have come out of it that have that influence. And that's what's amazing about
That's definitely true.
What happened with Fare Thee Well, and then the kickoff of Dead and Company after that, it just lit a fire back under that whole community.
And we would be bereft if we didn't mention Skull and Roses for you guys, man.
Yeah.
So
we're super excited.
Wow.
We're stoked that you're going, man.
I was great. I was stoked to run into you guys like the first day that I was down there.
Yes.
I think I would have been there. I'd been on the grounds maybe for 10 minutes. And I don't remember the band that was playing when I ran into you guys. But what I do remember is they did Cats Under the Stars into a Duke Ellington song.
Oh shit.
And back into Cats. And it was like a good 30-minute, meltdown. And I was like, oh man, we have to play down here because we're just going to level this place. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome.
I here's the thing, man. Like, if you hear from the outside of the thing, you hear 5-day Grateful Dead tribute festival.
There are people that would just tear their hair out.
It's like, are you fucking, come on, man.
Kill me now.
Yeah. Like, no, but here's the thing. It is the dopest shit ever. There's something magical about those grounds. First of all, I don't know.
Oh, it's hallowed space.
Yeah, there is a lot of mojo there. And then and we've said this a billion times, like it's the closest thing that I have experienced in my adulthood to what I experienced on the lot in the 80s and 90s.
Well, and part of it for this time in 2022 was, I mean, I bought my tickets. We bought our tickets in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then they
that's
postponed
right.
it and we held them. And they were like, hold on to your tickets. It's going to be worth it. And then, I mean, sure enough, that like the lineup was, you know,
Smoking.
insanely better. But they just getting to that place and having everybody there after the pandemic, you know, in real time, everybody hanging out. And it was evocative of, you know, the 80s and 90s for me, and I'm sure for you
man.
too.
It felt like
it was celebratory and just kind of a huge release over just being everybody there together, kind of experiencing it.
And I think
it's so comfortable. I was just going to tell you, if you didn't know that in 95, when we lost Jerry, me and Aaron, that was the last year that we had taken acid. And we had not in 25 years. It was just not a thing anymore. It was like, you know, until we went to Skull and Roses and we were there and we were like, well, this feels right.
Let's suspend that ruling.
For lack of it, like felt safe. It felt right, and it was like such a magical experience, and
really
let us relive the heydays, if you will.
So you guys have never dosed and done a podcast?
No, we have not.
No. We've eaten a bunch of Molly and podcasts.
And then the next day, then you listen to it and you're just like, we're just going to delete that.
Yeah, I have some files on this computer of like me and a buddy up in the bedroom up there just talking the most shit ever. And
ranting.
I listened to, I was like, I can't in good conscience put this out for anybody to ever hear.
We've done some interesting like Instagram live streams while we're at a show, very, you know, elevated and everything. Sparkly. But it's always it doesn't come off well.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's hard, and that, you know what, man, that's something about this music too, is that like there's a whole layer that's happening under the surface that can't be filmed or even like.
You can't capture it.
You can't capture it. And it's
even with recordings, and it's not the same as live.
True. Yeah.
It's true.
I watched like, what was it? I think it was the closing of Winterland. And Jerry's in his glory. And you can see like he's leaving. He's gone. And something else steps in and takes over, and he's playing. And then you see him like pop back in and go, whoa, the fuck? And then
like look
drift back out.
Oh,
like,
right. I'm playing.
I remember that. We were all watching that down here when this was still in my room, and put it on my big TV, and we're having.
I thought I was like,
it was like we were there. It was one of those experiences where it, like he came out of the screen and we were all feeling the same thing. It was like, did you see it? He just came back. He like surprised himself. He just realized he was still on stage.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think that whole thing too, it's important for, like at Skull and Roses, it's important for the 20 somethings, even the 30 somethings that are coming into the scene to be exposed to that thing, because that's integral in this.
Outside of the music itself.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
Yeah. You have to have that, or you're not getting you're getting like the sterilized Walmart version of Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
It's
the black and white.
Yeah, thank you.
Not
That's
the Technicolor
way
version.
better way to say it. Yes.
And the other thing about Skull and Roses too, which is amazing, and it's gonna be so cool to see you guys playing this year, because one thing me and Aaron really commented on after the first one, and then the second one, 4 or 5 days of music, and there's such a huge catalog, like we said. It makes every band, you got to be careful, because nobody wants to hear playing in the band 20 something times over 4 days.
I'd be okay with that.
So there was like,
I like that song.
But you hear them pulling stuff out, and like you're saying, like throwing in a Duke Ellington, like people dig deeper and they try to pull out the things that you don't hear all the time.
We're already,
that's what I was going to ask.
We're already trying to kind of figure out what it is that we're going to do. Because I think one of the years that you guys are down there, your friends the Higgs playing for
One
like
song.
an hour.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, we were like,
It was legendary.
Is that what we should do? Should we just do the 11 for an hour?
For the entire set.
I mean, we could just do the 11 into China Doll and back into the 11. Or we could just do, well, I mean, our go-to joke is that, you know, we're going to do a 45-minute China Doll because that'll separate the wheat from the chaff. Who's going to be into this? We'll find out. But I mean, we'd never do that. But it as far as I was under the assumption, I'd kind of guessed going into Skull this year that, you know, the songs that we're going to hear the most would be like Bertha, Scarlet, Eyes,
Althea.
Any of those.
Cats.
This year it was Cats.
It was Cumberland that was the most played.
Was it? Okay.
Way more.
Felt
That like across many different bands. It's like, oh, there's Cumberland again.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we're still we've just kind of started trying to figure out what our strategy is going to be. And I think we're kind of erring on the side of we're going to do stuff that only we do, regardless of what the other bands are kind of
Hell
doing.
yeah.
Right
So, as
on.
it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be, because
Well, that goes back into what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, surprise sandwiches, unexpected
Throw-
space
Love that.
jams.
Like in the middle of it, throw in like a little holy diver Dio in the middle of something.
That would be awesome.
Between Scott and Justin,
Oh, we could do it.
cut from that cloth, they throw that shit in all the time.
now you've done it, Apple.
There's Sabbath. I throw Sabbath quotes in every single show, pretty much. I've only been caught maybe once. So like,
we know.
Oh,
they're just not giving you attention.
were you playing Snowblind in the middle of doing that rag? Yeah, I totally was. I was playing Snowblind in the middle of a Dead song.
hell yeah.
Murray, 3 years in, right?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, the fall of 2019.
So, what do you make of all of
Yeah, it's a great question, babe. I'm curious
I mean,
too.
excuse me.
Because it's weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but it's also very cool. I mean, earlier we were talking about the community and, you know, the give and take and the relationship with the community. That's something I've, you know, been very aware of since joining. You know, first of all, I should say the band has just been really super warm and welcoming to me. And it's easy to see why the community is also like that.
Right.
You know, so it's just, I just felt like I came into open arms, and you know, there's this whole universe of, you know, the catalog, obviously the lore, the whole culture was brand new. Everything was brand new.
Oh, that's so. I'm so excited for you. That's so fucking
I'm
cool.
envious.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it?
A quick question too, bro. Have you seen Dead and Company or Phil and Friends
J-Rod?
or any?
The only live show that I've seen was recently. It was Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers down in Eugene at the Holt.
Okay.
Killing it.
Okay.
Peter was nice enough to share a couple of extra tickets with me. So that is the only live Dead type show that I've actually seen.
Okay.
Okay, and what did you come away with?
What did I come away with?
Well, okay, first easy question. Did you dig it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, totally.
All right.
Totally. I mean, you know, since I have been, you know, I've been basically going to Grateful Dead school for the last 3
Yeah.
years. So, you know, just being in the presence of Bob Weir was impactful just from that standpoint alone. I mean,
Right.
here's this guy that I've seen on video a ton of times and heard countless times. And there he is, you know,
Yeah.
and the band sounded phenomenal. Yeah, it was a great show. It was very cool. That was the first time I'd been to the Holt Center, and that place is super bomb. So, yeah, I mean, it's to try to pin down something specific as far as what it's all been like. It's tough because it's
Like,
it's
what's
a
your
whirlwind.
favorite Grateful Dead
Yeah.
song?
It's like looking at a giant collage and trying to identify, you know, a single element in there.
Yes, that's a great way to look at it, Murray. There's so much to even think about. To try to break it down it's like unchewable.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic
Is incredible. Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil Story Made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah, but it's been a blast of a journey, and it's because it's brand new. I mean, every time I play a show, there's a good chance that there's a song that I have never played before.
That's so cool.
There's a good chance.
You know, I mean, I'm getting there. I'm a lot closer than I was in terms of having a grasp of the catalog, but it's all totally brand new. So for me, it really is, every time feels almost like, you know, the first time
and
playing
well,
it.
And you're entering a world too where it's you're a single drummer coming into a world where it's, you know, Billy and Mickey, two madmen doing their thing together. So I mean,
weird dance.
Yeah,
totally. And, you know, and I'm also trying to, you know, as much as I can, I want to pay respect to the music and to, you know, other people that have done this before me in other tribute projects, the previous drummer in this project. You know, I really, before I joined and before I was listening to the music, you know, I had some very superficial concept of what all this was. And now that I'm sort of inside of it, it's like, whoa, this is really complex. And so every time I hear another tribute act or, you know, listen to any of the live shows from the actual band, I learned something new every time.
Yeah, it's like
oh, that's how they do that.
The difference between a 77 China Cat or whatever and 92, or who would have thought that? Do you know what I mean? It's not even something that you would have a concept of until you're on the inside of it. And now you're like, oh,
right,
yeah,
right. Well, I think my directive to you was when you first started playing with us, I sent you a list of maybe like 30 YouTube links. And then I sent you the archive and I was like, okay, just focus on 71 to 75, single drummer, Kreutzmann only. And if you do listen to stuff with the two drummers, just ignore what Mickey Hart's doing. Or try to ignore him completely.
Yeah, I think I've also kind of gotten there on my own. Like I definitely prefer the early 70s stuff.
Right. Well, and you were hipped to J-Rad, and I mean Russo's just a monster.
Yeah, for sure.
That's another outfit that has, I think those guys for me gave me the concept of no more first set, second set songs. They really blew that to pieces for me.
And God love them for it.
Yep.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
And they have completely ruined being able to ever call a song at a show. I'll be like, oh, it's going to be Birdsong. And then it's fucking something else.
No, it's going to be that Space Hog song from the 90s.
Right. Yeah.
In the middle of the other one.
Right.
They just did one. Adam hit me to this. So they're doing the other one. And then the other one goes into Vaseline by Stone Temple Pilots.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking
Just like
love
last
those guys,
week. And I
man.
was like, oh man, I got to listen to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I love STP, but
Me
I would
too.
not think that would fit in the other one, but it does.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
you know, the other side of this that I'm so curious about for you, Murray, is having a bunch of people tripping at a show creates a certain thing. There's an energy that's happening, and that's different than playing in a rock band. There's another layer that's happening. How has that affected you? Like being in the midst of that and having to deal with that coming from the crowd.
Well, as of late, I've been able to like get away from my notes more, my onstage notes that I have to kind of keep handy just so I can make sure I'm on my game there. So as much as possible, I try to spend more and more time just looking at the front row and just watching people and watching them dance and trying to like make some sort of connection with that, and just try to forget a little bit of what I'm doing and just kind of put myself out there a little bit and just try to ride that as long as I can.
It's so fun.
It's a blast. Yeah, I love people watching at the shows. I mean, it's like one of the most fun things. And I'm usually I'm in the back And depending on the lighting, sometimes I can't see, but to the extent that I can see like that first few rows of people doing their thing, like it's
way more interesting than looking at my back.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's a sexy back, Scott.
Sexy back.
I love how the Grateful Dead family is like watching the crowd at a show is like watching the most colorful birds on the Discovery Channel do their mating dances. It's the best shit ever.
And nobody does the same dance.
Nope.
Every single dance is different. If you take the music away, like that's funny. Right? We all done that, like watching an old show and you turn the music off and just watch the crowd. It's like, what are they dancing to?
Yeah.
Where's the beat? This guy's doing this one's doing this. It's fascinating.
So we haven't even really talked about like what's going on with you guys as a band. So you've got Skull and Roses coming in April. You've got Gem and Jam in February.
Yep.
What else is going on?
Well, we've kind of transitioned out of playing clubs.
Oh.
We've sort of figured that we kind of stepped it up after the pandemic.
What do you mean by that?
Well, instead of playing, the White Eagle, which, I mean, God love the White Eagle. We played there for, awesome. Since 2005. So that's a lot of White Eagle shows. But we kind of outgrew that.
I was going to say, it's hard to see you there.
The demand during the pandemic, the demand for really live bands just in general just kind of exploded. And for the Deadheads, being as insatiable as they are, we've kind of started to transition out of playing clubs and have kind of gone toward or kind of working toward playing theaters more consistently. So, I mean, with the exception of like World Pies in Eugene, but I mean like the Whiteside Theater in Corvallis, and we did with the Life During Wartime, we played at the Aladdin. We're just kind of trying to kind of move toward playing, and we've sort of been on, and this whole thing has sort of been our MO for a number of years.
I was going to say kind of right before the pandemic, we were on an 85 to 90 show a year pace,
which is a lot
for the last 5 years.
It's a lot of shows.
All in Portland, really.
Yeah.
80% anyway.
Wow.
And, and we're like, okay, well, yeah, we want to play less. We're playing ourselves into the ground. And so, the idea of, okay, well, if you play less, we can play bigger places maybe, but is it financially doable?
Is the demand there? Are we going to lose our shirt?
And yeah, exactly. And then the pandemic hit and we all lost our shirt anyway.
Yeah.
So it gave us a chance to, okay, when we come out of this, we're going to do it methodically and we're going to do it this way and we're going to play once a month.
Smarter.
We've heard this from several musicians, that the pandemic gave them an opportunity to really look at why, when, how, and 100%. What for.
Absolutely.
And I think it obviously did for us too. And it was necessary because, as we were saying in the kitchen, we were all on this like trajectory and felt like this bubble was about to burst. And I don't know that it would have been healthy for us. I was doing way too much drugs at the time and partying way too much and like starting to have issues because of it. And that really made me put on the brakes, obviously, because there's nothing going on.
And we were doing the same thing, saying yes to every
everything,
single thing that came
and
up.
Just being exhausted all the time and no creative juice. And you guys, same?
Yeah. I mean, we got better at saying no and declining opportunities.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really, I mean, it focused us, and we realized that we could play higher quality shows collectively if we weren't playing literally every week.
Yes.
Like 3 times a week.
That is
quality,
we were
not
doing
quantity.
We were doing 4-night grinds, which was insane.
I'm going to ask you guys, like, for what?
I think it was just kind of just to develop the following.
I think that, that's where it was kind of underway when I joined the band. got the here's what we're doing. Can you do 90?
It was
can
an
you do 90
ascent.
shows this year?
It was an
And I'm like,
ascent.
oh, I got-
Right.
So
Whose decision was that
to
to
play so much?
Yeah, to go at that.
Well, it was collective because we all agreed to.
Yeah,
we all showed up. So
we were all there.
But somebody's got to book that or make it happen. So
Yeah, that
like,
was
Their old manager.
yes,
correct.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
right.
Got it.
And so anyway, with the, giving us the opportunity to come back out of it and do that, I just realized there's another challenge that's come up from that is as we were playing all those shows, we, out of necessity to keep it fresh, we were churning through, 130 plus songs
Right.
Wow.
over the course of, however many shows. So
Right.
we 5 or 6 shows for a repeat. Now that we're not doing that, it's, we've had the challenge of, we're, coming back out, we've been sticking more to the first 60. And so there's a bit, we're starting to, okay, we gotta expand that a little. We got a little better at that this last year at playing stuff we're not
Editing
just that we're more comfortable with because we
Definitely.
played it 2 months ago instead of a year ago.
Oh,
and so,
okay.
but not to say we don't rehearse because we do, but it's typically right, leading up to the gig, we'll do a couple rehearsals kind of thing.
So I know for us, the goal is, or a goal is for this thing to support us so that we don't have to have day jobs. Is that the goal for GBB?
No.
Not really.
No. Okay.
I mean,
That's cool.
I like having health insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
I
Especially
mean,
as
the
we're
day
getting
job,
older.
my day job, I'm able to actually kind of divide the twain don't cross. I'm able to kind of keep them separated.
Likewise.
That's
and we're
great.
able to, I mean, where we are now as a band collectively, we don't have to play during the week, which was really hard. I mean, it's still really hard.
Dude,
Even
a
if
midweek show is tough
it's
for
rough.
us.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
rough.
to show up to.
Yeah,
for
when you
sure.
got other responsibilities.
Well, the next morning,
day,
I go to work I clock in at 8 a.m.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
it's,
that's-
I'm on the phone with patients all day. So
rough.
it's hard. It makes makes the following day just insanely long and
Brutal.
arduous. Yeah. So
I think that's good. That, I mean, for you guys, that takes a level of pressure off, I would think. It's because there's no we have to, we want to, we're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
None of us are going to tour. We came to that conclusion, Lee, and that was kind of one of my things when I joined the band. I said, I'll join the band. I can't play. I can't go on the road for 2 weeks. I got kids. I got a job. I just
Yeah.
can't do that.
not going to sleep on floors. I'm not in my 20s.
So how
Yeah.
how do we do this now? And I've been asked this question before. Who do you guys want to be? And so that was kind of when we were in that playing 80 shows a year, we're playing all these clubs and we're just doing this thing. And so is this going somewhere?
Right.
Kind of thing. And now some of these opportunities with Skull and Roses and Gem and Jam Fest, which we just kind of touched on, but that's going to be February 3rd through 5th in Tucson, and we are playing with our friends in the band LDW, which is the Talking Heads tribute outfit out of here.
Okay.
We've been doing 1 or 2 shows a year with them for about the last 5 years or so. We call it Talking Dead. We all set up together and we rotate sets. It's a 4-hour show. There's no breaks.
What?
Yeah, there's no set break.
So the last song of our set becomes the first song of their set, and we all fade off into they play for an hour, then we
Wow.
come back up and it becomes Shakedown Street or whatever.
Wow.
We do all these
Yeah,
cool
you guys
things.
haven't seen it. I'm assuming.
No.
Oh yeah,
No,
it's
that
pretty.
sounds
So
awesome.
we
It's
will
pretty
be
nuts.
we'll be closing out the Gem and Jam Festival beginning at midnight Sunday night after String Cheese
That's
final
Until
set.
4 a.m.
Until
Oh my God.
Coffee is your
Wow,
friend.
guys.
yes,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gem
Yeah.
and Jam has really grown.
Yeah.
It's the 15th annual this year, and it's
Wow.
yeah. So we're super excited about that. So that's one of the things that kind of fell into our lap a little bit, not from our hard work get noticed and to be invited. But that's an opportunity to kind of, get, like I said, we're going from the bar band to the theater band. And, if we can fly to Locking for the weekend and play a little set, why wouldn't we do that?
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if you think about like Dogs in a Pile, what they're doing on the East Coast, I mean,
those guys are grinding.
They are also playing Gem and Jam as well.
They are grinding it because they're on the East Coast and they can drive an hour and be in a completely different market and do that for 3-4 days in a row. And in the West Coast, we just can't do that.
We just talked about this with polyrhythmics.
This has come up a lot.
This has come up a lot lately, especially with gas prices being what they are. Like,
oh, it's crazy.
Guys in polyrhythmics were like, the Pacific Northwest is basically an island musically. We can't financially just tour like that.
Right.
Well, what is he? Pretty much you got Seattle, Bend, Eugene, and Portland.
Yep.
And then little towns in between.
Corvallis.
Smaller.
And
Olympia.
And we're lucky in that as a Dead band that there's enough heads that will support that. Not just us. I mean, they'll support, 4 or 5 other regional Dead bands too.
Oh yeah.
No problem. And I mean, if we wanted to travel down and play at the Talent Club, we could. If we wanted to go into Northern California, we could, but I mean, then it's with gas prices, then it's kind of like, okay, well, we have to, if it doesn't pencil out and we're going to actually lose money for traveling, we don't need to do that.
No, and that's what I meant about having that level of pressure removed from you guys. That's cool.
Well, I was going to say, it's a level of balance, that card again, those cards again. It seems to me as if you've all created a healthy way of enjoying your day job, enjoying your fun hobby and side business, and like keeping it fresh so that it's not get stale, and still wanting more out of it as well, and having better opportunities. Like, that's a really great place to be.
I have to also give props to the McMenamins folks, because they've been incredibly supportive. And
shout out McMenamins.
When the pandemic was ending, we had heard kind of before the pandemic began that they were going to bring the Mission Theater back from being a movie theater to a venue again. Then the pandemic happened, and of course that all went out the window. But then they contacted us and they were like, hey, do you guys want to, we're going to turn it into a venue and a rock and roll clubhouse. We basically want it to be like the Portland version of TXR, which was still open at the time. So yeah, it's back as a venue, like legitimately all the time. So that's been, that was a huge thing when they was like, okay, we're going to play at the Mission Theater again. I mean, it's perfect. It's like a mini Winterland.
Those two, though, you guys and McMenamins are synonymous in my mind with my transplant to this city and my indoctrination into the Grateful Dead scene here. Like you guys and that just there's nothing like McMenamins.
Their heads, I mean, no question.
Yeah.
And if you go to the Barley Mill, it's like, oh yeah, this company is definitely run by Deadheads. The Crystal, I mean, it's all of it. It's all over the place,
dude. That was our first experience before we moved up here. We came on a scouting trip to go. Yeah. We were in our minds was moving to Seattle. And we stopped in Portland on the way to Seattle, stayed one night, loved it, went to Seattle, came back. But we had stopped in Eugene at McMenamins, didn't know what it was.
No.
We're like, this sounds good. Aaron had looked it up and was like, oh, they got like Grateful Dead art on the walls and stuff. They got a good menu. And we stopped and we're hooked.
I was like, I'm home.
We're walking around the restaurant looking at the paintings and the stuff on the wall.
I remember walking around in there like taking pictures of all the posters just because I hadn't seen anything like that before. I was like, holy shit, there's like a restaurant that's Grateful Dead themed, sort of. Like, what the fuck? It was crazy.
Yeah, we're really lucky that they have been as supportive as they have and have supported us all along. I mean, even when we began playing at the White Eagle back in 2004, and it was the band, the bartender, like 2 other people, and ashtrays. Back when you could,
what a long strange.
That was a long time ago. Yeah. So
congratulations on that forward motion. That is really something, to be able to stick with something and see the fruits and feel the nectar of that fruit. That's such a cool thing.
And calling the shots too,
Yeah.
man. Like, you don't know how many people we've talked to. They're like, yeah, we're grinding the fuck out of it, man. Like we're doing 148 dates this year. And, you know,
Yeah.
I've slept on floors for the last 6 in that
And then
whole
they're-
I
thing.
can't
and
even
they're-
imagine that.
And they're doing like the social media piece and having to be that personality on social media.
I see
and
people like
it's-
Frasco and I'm exhausted
Oh,
just
gosh.
watching the Instagram. Like
Yeah.
every night is just full bore all the way. And like,
Eating at AM, PM,
Yeah, he's not in
getting
his
some
20s.
gas station
Like, that's
sushi.
hard,
and
It's
man.
got to
It
be
is hard.
exhausting being the center of attention all the time.
Yeah.
dude,
But I mean, like you guys have been deliberate since we were last here
Yeah.
and have
Yes.
been very focused, and you know, like the reassessment and the reset that you had during the pandemic. I mean, it's been completely beneficial to you guys.
100%.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a trip how that happened.
you're
because,
sitting
like,
down talking to Oteil and
Well, and we
Beats by
found that
Jenny
in the
and stuff.
beginning when we were all freaking out, and especially Aaron being like the, you know, like the conductor, like we call it, was like, "What the fuck are we gonna do? We're alive."
I thought
He's
we
like-
were done.
Next thing we know, he's like reaching out to people. It's like, oh, Dave Schools said yes.
Billy
Billy
Strings.
Strings said yes. Nobody's busy anymore. They're sitting at home bored.
Like
they
we
wanna
are.
talk.
Trying to figure out where their life is going. So then all of a sudden we got I always go back to that one, the Dave Schools, how excited he was to be at home for the first time. And he said almost 20
I
something
can't
years.
remember how many years.
He
but
said
it's like-
every year we have this beautiful peach tree and my wife has to save me peaches that I get out of the jar when I come back home. He's like, I actually got to pick a fucking peach off of my peach tree.
that
for the
interview with
first
him was
time
one of my
ever.
favorite ones you guys have done.
That was
You guys
amazing.
really connected with him.
Yeah,
We
he's
absolutely did.
actually become a friend, and that would have never happened.
No,
Had it
they
not
would have
been
been
for-
so damn busy
For the
whenever it
pandemic and the
happened.
reset. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or
And-
if it happened, it would have been from a hotel with the spotty connection of
Yeah.
trying to do it over the cell phone or a Zoom call.
And I think that's something that if I had to like pick out an overarching theme for musicians and music adjacent folks like us, I think that having more intention and balance is the thing that came out of all of that for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Just because of the nature of the thing, it really it made everybody stop. It made us all take stock of why we're doing whatever the fuck we're doing and how and if
is
we
it
wanna
worth
keep
it?
doing it.
Yeah.
and if you can, whatever. And now it's like a whole different perspective on the thing. And I'm super grateful for it.
And it also
that's where I landed.
It also
it's a
turned
privilege.
into therapy for us, and then we learned after a little while that it turned into therapy for our listeners.
Yeah.
They're like, it was something to listen to.
That's
and to
something that
get
was
into
consistent that
during
was
this
happening.
Lockdown.
Yeah. And gratitude, man. That's
Yes.
That's the thing. It to have anybody paying attention to anything that you're doing is
That's true.
huge. And
There's
you guys
so
know
much-
if
yeah,
that
so
the
many
people are
options.
showing up to watch you play. It's wow.
It's an honor.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%, man. And I don't know. I love this Portland community, and you guys have been a staple in that thing for a long time. So you've seen it grow. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
you've seen that thing. Do you guys still do the camp out?
Our fest?
Yeah.
We haven't been able to do that. We weren't able to do that in 2020, but man, we had a really killer lineup for 2020. But that said,
You did it this year, right?
well, sort of.
We've been doing.
We've done little
truncated versions.
smaller, reduced
Okay,
versions.
because I
of
watched
Fest.
some of the YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah.
100 people kind of thing instead of
from
500.
up at Anita's place up in Washington. Yeah. Well, actually, Fest is in Washington too.
Right.
But yes, Fest will return at full strength, which is Fest. True proper Fest is capacity 500.
Oh, wow.
The campouts are about half of that.
Okay.
200.
That's nice.
Smaller scale completely.
But you have to go all the way to Washington for that?
Well,
Because
We don't have to.
Because I know
but-
some. I know some
Camp out,
people.
yeah.
I know a place.
Oh yeah. That. Oh my God. That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
great.
We've looked at places.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk.
We've looked at places, but yes, I think that it's looking like 2023 will be the return of Fest. So it'll be Fest number 7.
Damn.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
And it's interesting because I just talked to Dennis McNally regarding Skull coming up, and he had been at 3 of our fests. And
Oh, yeah?
it was before Skull
Oh,
had
wow.
started. And he said, I thought about, you guys kind of had like this prototype Skull and Roses thing going and up in Washington at your spot. So it's kind of fitting that full circle you guys will be at Skull and Roses.
Yeah.
Is it Dennis?
Wait a minute.
Dennis
Wow.
is so cool.
The other day,
He's
he
hilarious.
called me at work. I was at work and I look, my phone rings. I'm like, oh, it's Dennis. I go, I take the call and I hang up and I'm like, my life is so fucking weird. This is so surreal. I just took a call from fucking Dennis McNally, and I've talked to him 1,000 times. Like, it never gets old, and the surreality of it never lessens every time. I'm like, this fucking guy was the publicist for the Grateful Dead.
And then you throw in Susanna. Him and Susanna are like
Hilarious.
They are the
Great.
cutest, most awesome people ever.
At the Crystal's birthday, he did like a spoken word kind of storytelling thing involved with that on multiple nights. And when he would leave the stage and go to the dressing room, he didn't stop. It was, I've heard this about like Henry Rollins too, when he does like his spoken word thing. He doesn't actually stop the spoken word thing. He just leaves the stage and it keeps going. And with McNally, it's the same thing. It's just anything that you'd bring up, like, oh, my first show was in Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland. Well, let me tell you this story about Richfield Coliseum, and he'll just go. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to shut up because I know he's going to tell me something that he's never, shared, or it's never appeared in his books. And yeah, it's
And it's going
pretty
to blow your
funny.
mind.
Yeah, it's gonna blow your mind.
hilarious.
So, do you guys? Did I see that you have something planned for New Year's?
We do.
What?
We will be back at the Mission Theater
On
for
the 30th and 31st.
30th and 31st. And
Both shows are sold out.
Yep.
Oh,
Shows are
okay.
sold out.
All right. Well,
Not for you guys, though.
thank you. It's good that we're all back. That's all I know.
It's
it's
it's such a pleasure.
fuck, man. I looking back, I was just the other day, I can't remember what show I was watching, but it was like a group of kids and they're like doing theater. It was a documentary, and the documentary was filmed March 13th of 2020 is while this is happening. And like they're going through, well, we don't know what's going to happen. We can't put the play on. Like, we're going to close the school for 2 weeks and blah, blah. And I was watching it and it made me like re-feel that weird feeling of the beginning of all of that. And I had forgotten about that part of it. And I was like, wow, we all really went through some shit, like communally as human beings on planet Earth.
Yeah.
We went through some shit. And I remember how like uncertain everything was and how scary and all the craziness. And to be sitting here now with you guys, man, like this is the best shit ever.
Oh,
I'm so grateful for it.
it's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
So are we.
Yeah, totally grateful. So
us too.
where can folks find out about like tickets and tours or shows and stuff like that?
The most up-to-date stuff is probably on our Instagram and our Facebook page.
Okay.
And what's the Instagram for them?
It's
Garcia Birthday Man. I
Yeah.
believe.
At Garcia Birthday Band?
Yep.
Okay.
and then Facebook / Garcia Birthday Band.
Yep.
As well, our website www.garciabirthdayBand.com.
Yep.
For just for the shits and grins of it, there's people that don't live in Portland listening to the show and they don't know why you're called the Garcia Birthday Band. It's just for fun. Let them in on it.
Well, that circles back to our symbiotic relationship with the McMenamin brothers. And they host their annual Jerry Garcia birthday party.
First one was in 1998.
Okay.
At the Edgefield Brewery. And the first one was 1998, and a few of us were kind of connected. I think Scott was working out there.
Yep.
And it was like, hey, we're throwing this Jerry birthday party. Can you put some musicians together and set up in the field, and we'll give you an extension cord. And you play,
this is before the amphitheater existed.
Oh, okay.
There was nothing. And so I was involved in that one, as was Scott.
I was actually working a catered event. I was slicing up prime rib at a wedding reception that was there. And I turned to my coworker and I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to go jam with these guys. And he's like, you're going to do what? I was like, I know all these dudes. I heard them out here sound checking. I'm going to go jam with them.
You just had your instrument?
No, I played somebody else's.
Okay.
I played in my chef's coat and the whole thing. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
with
I
like,
love that.
prime rib juice on the coat.
Fucking great.
I walked out there and we played Cassidy and Birdsong, and I was like, okay, my break's over. I got to go back to work. And that was pretty much it. So that was an annual thing, and the band didn't really even exist outside of that event.
Yeah, for the first 6 or 8 years, it was the only gig this band had.
Up until about 2004.
And it was just a revolving cast of people who would show up each year.
It wasn't even the same people. The name hadn't been concocted yet. And then in 2004, a band that I was in at the time, the Buds of May, they were part of that collective band at the Red Shed where you guys saw us.
Okay.
On that
damn fine band, the Buds of May, by the way.
On that same day. So I showed up and they're like, oh, hey, do you want to sit in? And the guy, Dan Davis, thanks, Dan, handed me his bass. And then I ended up sitting in for like the whole set. And then it was like, oh, well, actually, this kind of works. We should probably think about doing this more than once a year.
Right on.
And the McMiniman Brothers there was another band called the Big Island Shindig, who
love that.
They were playing at the Cornelius Pass Roadhouse, another McMiniman spot on Halloween. They wanted us to open for them, so I was like, well, we got to come up with a name. So it was the Garcia Birthday Band was born. And the funny thing about that was originally we were the Jerry Garcia Birthday Band, but there were two parties that sent a cease and desist in the same day back in the MySpace era.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to say who that was, but then we were just like, oh, well, we'll just drop Jerry because, you can't copyright the last name Garcia.
Yeah, that's
Schaefer
like
Birthday Band.
Jones,
Yeah.
Smith.
So, that's how the name
That's
came
cool,
about.
man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Murray, what are you most looking forward to in 2023?
Wow. Well, those two festivals for sure. Those are going to be the biggest shows that I've played. So, I'm giddy as hell about that.
Hell yeah.
Skull is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why when I asked earlier about you seeing that, now you're going to see so many players in this scene.
Yeah, I'm liable to be pretty wide-eyed in both occasions.
Yeah.
But
In more ways than one, my friend.
yeah, maybe I'll be able to conquer the entire catalog that this band plays.
Wow.
We got time.
Or maybe not conquer, but get it under my belt a little bit more. So and really, like, these guys are so great to play with, and they've just been mentors to me as well.
Wow.
Everybody in the band has I'm able to kind of interact with on stage in a different way with everybody. Peter's always great, high energy, is always kind of like helping me understand the energy that we're going for in a particular moment. Scott's my anchor, obviously, and, has my back 100%, and I want to have his back. Adam is just so playful all the time with everything that he does. And Justin will look back when he's building solos and, look back at me and be like, let's go, he'll kind of engage me directly. And I just love all those moments. So,
Wow.
More of that is what I'm looking forward to, and getting even better and getting the music, ingesting more of the music.
Well, if nobody's said it to you, man, welcome home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right
great.
on.
Yeah.
Also want to say too that this is we've had Scott and Peter over here before. Justin hasn't made it to one of our interviews yet.
Yeah,
but
Justin.
and it's weird. We got to know we've hung out with Justin outside of the band thing and done things with him. And our love goes out to you and your father, and also to Adam. Congratulations, Adam.
Congratulations
on a new
Papa.
addition to the family. Sorry you couldn't be here, but it is the holidays and you have a newborn, my friend.
Yeah. Stay home, man.
Yeah.
You don't need to be out fucking around.
Yeah.
Nope. So everybody,
Well, I just want to say thank you for coming to the house. It means a lot. It really does. It feels a full
Thank you.
circle.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
know, and
Great to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, and I really appreciate seeing your journey and how you morph, and welcome to the family, Murray, for sure. I'm excited at how excited Peter and Scott were saying how you elevated them, and then you're coming around saying that they're mentors. And so that to me just shows how much the band has grown, and we haven't had an opportunity to see you lately. We would love to take you up on going to see you at least one of those nights, because I definitely want to see Murray in action. And
You got to fix that.
Yeah, we need
Yes,
to fix
we'll
that.
fix it.
Like it has been clearly because of no lack of love. It's just, we're both doing so much, No Simple Road, and you all are doing so much.
Well, it's been amazing watching you guys kind of manifest your thing. It's been really cool to watch that.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
And
Scott,
well,
thank you.
Hear it.
Well,
and watch it.
and then the running into each other at random things.
Yeah, man.
and
It
seeing
was great
Peter
to give you a
out.
hug in the middle of Skull and Roses. It
That's
really
what I-
was, Scott. It made it helped to ground and anchor me, like, oh, people from back home are here.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that me and Mel both said the same thing. Aaron may have too. It was like that there's many hugs given at these events and everything. You gave us the
good
best
hugs.
hug. You gave us like
Seriously.
the Portland love
Yep.
home
Feels
hug.
like home.
Like a bear that when we were
Yeah.
at Skull and Roses,
For
it
real.
was so good to see you there.
Thank you.
And that Spafford show was fucking fire, dude.
Yeah, dude. That
Yeah.
Dude.
I can't wait.
We'd forgotten through me and Aaron had both said, because we were excited. We're always excited to go see music, but after the lockdown and the pandemic, we just interviewed Spafford at Summer Meltdown before the lockdown. And 2 years had gone by. There was some bands we didn't quite stay up with because not much was happening. And then we went and seen them. It was like, this is why we love fucking Spafford, man. These guys fucking bring it.
they
We
were
forgot.
amazing.
This is another where you have to see the live experience. The recordings and stuff don't do justice to a lot of this live music.
I wasn't really familiar with them, but yeah, they were impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, right out of the gate, it was just like, oh man, this is like a 27-minute jam.
Yeah.
And they play they play to the 80s rock stuff a lot, kind of too, and throw in some guitar solos. You hear a little Maiden
cheesy.
or something dropped in, doing the hit, like recognizing it. Yeah, they're dope.
So everybody, check it out. If you live in Portland and you already don't know who these guys are, where the fuck have you been? But you should, you know what's going on. And if you have the opportunity to catch them at Skull and Roses or Gem and Jam or anywhere else, make sure you're not like too out of your mind to go catch them,
That's
because
right.
it's really, really worth it. And you can say you're welcome later.
And if you're on Instagram, let them know how much you love them,
Yeah,
and let
throw
them
them a
know what they
follow.
mean to you, because when you go see bands and they just scratch that itch, that dance itch, or that vocal itch,
real,
or
though.
whatever it is. So say thank you and how much you appreciate them.
And
Thanks, you
good.
guys.
It's a good
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll I don't know, something will happen after I hit stop, and then we'll start again somewhere. So we'll see you guys in a minute. See, I told you. Here we are. We're back.
It wasn't quite a minute, but we're back.
You are a man.
It was a long time between then. Well, not really a long time, but it's a new time now, and here we are, and we're back at the end of the thing that happened at the beginning. Here we are. Yep.
I'm in a kerfuffle now. I don't understand what he said. I'm lost.
Hey.
Oh.
Welcome to the back end of the show.
How you like my rear? Thanks, Garcia Birthday Band guys.
Yeah.
For hanging out with us and being in the studio and having an amazing conversation with us.
We had ginger chocolate chip bread.
Did we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want some more of that.
I have some to make.
Do you?
I sure do.
Okay.
that was bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
If you haven't had that, you should try it,
And
everybody.
that's what I hope you all really enjoyed this conversation like we did, because this, again, like we said, was very special. and they came to the house again. There's nothing quite like getting to kind of sit down and, you know, like break pumpkin or whatever bread, the gingerbread together and kind of get a hangout.
Yeah, we had coffee and hung out on the porch.
And it was so fun, and nothing for nothing. We love our studio, and we love when people get to come sit in it and
hang out and do the interviews here.
Yeah.
It's so much better than a Zoom.
Yes.
It is really a lot better.
We prefer it.
Yeah,
So,
and I just want to say too, it was really cool getting to know you, Murray, and
Murray.
also getting to see you all play together.
Do you remember what Murray was wearing?
no.
A No Simple Road hoodie.
at the show.
Yeah. That was, and it was hot as fuck in
Murray,
there
I
too.
can't thank you enough
Soldier.
for making me smile from ear to ear when I saw you were in that hot place, drumming no less with the hoodie. So
Love it.
appreciative.
And then, one more thing too. And also, Adam and Justin, we're coming for you, man. We got to make this happen. And again, we know Justin well, and Adam, it was a pleasure getting to meet you at the show at Mission, and can't wait to get to know you better, man.
Yeah, totally. And hey, everybody out there, April 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in Ventura, Skull and Roses Festival, coming in hot. Tickets are on sale now. There's a banner at nosimpleroad.com. If you click on the graphic for the festival, it'll take you to a link to grab your tickets. Garcia Birthday Band is playing, Circles Around the Sun, Dark Star Orchestra, Phil Lesh and Friends,
Melvin
Seals and JGB, and a host of other amazing Grateful Dead cover bands playing that thing. And No Simple Road is going to be there. So go grab your tickets. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with the Garcia Birthday Band guys on hallowed Grateful Dead ground at the Ventura Raceway. Some amazing shows happen there. And that silica is infused with the vibratory elements of the Grateful Dead family over the decades. And you can feel it when you walk in that place, man. So come hang out with us. And, you know, on next week, I don't know what's coming out yet, but I know it's going to be good. And on Monday, we're coming back with another No Simple Road weekly rewind done in collaboration with the Edible Beats. And how about that? 300 down, folks. Let's hear it for the No Simple Road family.
Yay, all of us.
All right, cool.
And Darwin just looked over like, what the hell?
All right, you guys. So until then, take care of each other.
Yeah.
Smile at a stranger.
Take care of yourself.
Safety third. Hydrate. And you know what? If you got a dog, take them out for walks as much as possible, because just imagine being stuck in your house all the time. It would be so boring. You would start to go insane. Don't think that your dog is any different. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. Within the four walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.